What is up, gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode on the channel. As always, so glad to have you guys back. On today's episode, we will be looking and evaluating the 4 key Stoic virtues, specifically those of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance or self-control. Before we get into the episode, one might ask themselves, why should we even be considered, or why should we even be interested in implementing the Stoic virtues into our day-to-day lives? What do we have to benefit from? Well, understand this. Every single decision that you take before it manifests outwardly is coming from a deeply rooted place within your subconscious that honestly, most times you don't even know is happening. To develop and to cultivate true character and true depth of character takes years and years of substantial work on ourselves. But at least by following these 4 virtues, we have a framework to fall back on whenever we are faced with trying times or a difficult situation. So you can always ask yourself, in any scenario you face, whether it's a personal, whether it's a business, whether it's with friends, you can ask yourself, am I following or am I living in accordance to these 4 key virtues? Have I approached each of this difficult situation within the framework of these 4 virtues? So let's look at each of them, and we'll start off with number 1. Number 1 is going to be wisdom, and this is the ability to make sound and practical decisions based off of the judgment that you create or that you attain from any given scenario, and to do so in a way that is cultivated from a deeply rooted place of wisdom. You're not doing this because you have an emotional reaction to something, or you're not doing this because you have some form of irrational pull towards something. You're doing this and you're taking a decision based on your best and most profound level of wisdom. Why do you want to do this? Well, look at this. When you may be facing a difficult situation at work, when you may find yourself in a scenario where you feel that you have been done wrong, or things are not panning out the way that you wish them to pan out. Unwise person may act irrationally. They may act from an emotional place, and they may actually tarnish the situation further. When you act with wisdom, when you look at every single scenario in a way that is in accordance with the reason and practical judgment, you're able to put all of the chips on the table, to take a step back and to make the decision that is going to yield you the best possible result. The same is true in a personal relationship, whether it's with friends or with someone that you know intimately. The way that you communicate with someone is going to have a tremendous impact on the result of that relationship. So you may find yourself feeling that you've been done wrong. By being wise, you're able to take a step back from that scenario, to reflect on yourself and to accurately assess the situation wisely. When you are able to take that step back and you react, or you affect yourself from a stronger position, from a more stable position, you're able to take actions that are going to, again, yield you a more substantial result that is not swayed by your emotions, that is not swayed by an irrational version of yourself, that is just simply reacting to the scenario in front of them. Number 2 is courage, and this is the ability to face fear, danger, and adversity head on, and with true courage, to do so in a way that is a reflection of your strength and your power. Why do we need to be courageous? We no longer have the trials and tribulations of our forefathers. We no longer have to go out and hunt the lion and hunt the boar in order to get access to our resources and our food. Well, we face a different type of courage in this world. We face the courage of having to take on a risk. We have to face the courage of being uncomfortable. We have to face the courage, or we have to be courageous in the face of all forms of adversity. And when you harness and when you push yourself to be courageous, what you do is you find yourself never shying away from difficult scenarios. Consider your life. Consider all areas in your life that you have found tremendous growth in. Chances are that that growth has come from prolonged periods of adversity, prolonged periods of trials and tribulations that have truly put you and pushed you to your psychological and your physiological limits. By facing these scenarios, by facing these types and these aspects of your life with courage, you are not only forced to overcome them, but the person that you become in the process of overcoming these trials and tribulations ultimately becomes the person that you can be proud of. This is what it means to be courageous. It also means to do what is difficult, not necessarily what is easy and what is simple in this world. In any scenario in which you wish to progress to the next level, you're never going to find yourself progressing to these next levels by being comfortable, by doing what you know how to do time and time again. You find the courage to take the necessary risks in your business, in your life, to actually go into the unknown and to face the reality of tremendous failure and tremendous defeat head on, and to say to yourself that regardless of the desired outcome and regardless of what I wish to happen, at the end of the day, wherever the chips may fall, I will be fine. I will learn from this scenario in defeat and in victory. Next up, we have justice. And this is to act in a way that encourages fairness and equality and is a true reflection of what we wish in terms of our respect for others. And why should we act in a way that is just? I find that in life, you will be challenged to act justly and unjustly. Those who are able to retain the true nature of their justice time and time again and are able to impact others in a way that is just, it may be firm, but it is just, are those that find themselves never losing who they are, the essence of who they are. Let's look at some specific examples. Maybe you're the owner of a company and you find yourself in a difficult scenario where you need to make a decision. It's either A or B. A is the easy decision. It's the decision that can get you a lot of money, a lot of cash immediately, but at the expense of doing something you believe is unjust. And maybe no one will know. Maybe it's an action that you can take that is hidden, is shrouded, and no one will truly know what you've done, but you will know. And on the other side, you have the ability to delay that, to reject that quick action for the sake of justice. The person who chooses A, though outwardly and to the world around them, they may seem more successful. That person, believe me, when they're acting from an unjust place, is going to find themselves off balance. And eventually, that ability to act unjustly will compound itself. And this person will continue to take unjust actions that will eventually lead to his or her demise. But the person who is able to prolong, to delay that gratification, to put things aside and to act in the name of justice for what he or she believes are the true virtues that they wish to live by. This is the kind of person that is going to cultivate the part of themselves that is truly rooted in a virtuous way of living, and watch that grow. Watch that energetic exchange of actually prolonging what is easy and putting aside what is simple for the act of justice. Watch that impact the way that they do everything in life as they move forward. And this is the idea, to impact justice and to enact justice when you need to, especially when it's difficult to do so. Last but not least is my favorite of the 4 key virtues, and this is the idea of self-control. So this is the ability to regulate one's thoughts, emotions, actions, and behaviors, to enact these behaviors in a rational and disciplined way. Why is self-control so important? Your life is the manifestation of consistent actions you take on a day-to-day basis. If you wish to build a business, you don't just snap your fingers and all of a sudden you have a business. If you wish to build strong, meaningful relationships, you don't just snap your fingers or throw a bunch of money at the situation and this is how you get what you want. If you wish to build a better body, if you wish to build a better mind, all of this takes repetitive actions that are performed on a daily basis, day in, day out, with zero intermission in between. And this is what it means to be disciplined, to be self-controlled, because even in days and times where you genuinely do not feel, and you do not feel like actually putting in the effort, you physically cannot go on, you mentally cannot go on. You cannot do another rep, you cannot do another set, you cannot show up to another meeting, you cannot wake up on the days that you need to wake up for. Those are the days that truly test you and that separate you from the rest of the pack, because 99% of people will give in to their emotions. They will give in to the way that they feel, will give in to that slight sick feeling that they have, will give in to everything that is trying to hold them back from the person that they're meant to become. And this is what it means to have self-control. And self-control also goes into your personal relationships. The ability to speak and to be unaffected by others, and to actually sit down and know that you are protected no matter what anyone does or says. And you're able to hold yourself when you need to be held, is extremely powerful. Few people are able to do that. Few people are able to maintain themselves in times when truly one might feel that they have been impacted or that they should be brewed to anger immediately. And this is what it means to have self-control. It means to be unaffected. It means to be disciplined enough to hold yourself, because at the end of the day, when you lash out, the only person you're harming is yourself. The only person you're harming is the character of the person that you wish to build. Well guys, that is it. That has been my explanation for how to use the 4 key Stoic virtues in your day-to-day life. To recap, those 4 virtues were courage, wisdom, temperance, and ultimately justice. If you guys enjoyed this episode and want to see other similar topics on how to live a better life, potentially through the enactment of Stoic virtues or Stoic principles or philosophies, I know you guys enjoyed the last episode I put out and it got a great response. And as always, I say this all the time, from the very bottom of my heart, I make these episodes as a labor of love and as a way for me to share the things that have truly had a profound impact in terms of how I live my life and how I operate and move in the world. And I hope and I trust that the same person that I once was, that person that had a lack of confidence, that had a lack of ability to project the truest version of himself, to communicate himself effectively, to dress in a way that he wanted to. Well, I hope that that person that I once was, and most likely is found in some of you, can benefit from the journey that I've been on over the last 5 years, and can expedite that process so that you can get there faster, more effectively, and better. And honestly, that's all I wish to see. So from the very bottom of my heart, thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Until next week, we'll speak soon.